Well, let's go straight to it, right? Let's tell the people what happened. All right, so episode 3 is a quick summary recap for y'all. So Beast determines that the Gene lookalike who came to the mansion at the end of episode 2 is actually the real Jean Grey. And then we see Mr. Sinister imposing his creepy self onto the Jean lookalike in order to reveal that he is the one who created her. Then asserts control on her, turning her into the Goblin Queen. Right? So once that happens, once that happens, the Goblin Queen kidnaps Nathan to give him to Sinister. Then this creates a horror scenario for the X-Men, right?
Yes.
Where they're haunted by their fears and different things.
Yes.
Which
she invokes the Inferno.
Yes, she invokes Inferno. Which is ultimately stopped by, it's stopped telepathically by the real Jean Grey. She stood up, you know what I'm saying? The real Jean Grey stood up.
Stood up, she woke up, stood up.
She woke up, stood up, activated her powers and got, the Goblin Queen out of there. Morph leads the X-Men to one of Sinister's labs where they find him infecting Nathan with a techno-organic virus, believing it will turn him into the ultimate mutant. Cyclops and Jean clone, who's now not under Sinister's control, as far as we know, insists that Bishop takes Nathan to his future in hopes to find a cure for Nathan.
Yes.
The clone leaves and takes the name Madeline Pryor.
Yes.
Final scene, we see Storm sitting at a bar when a man named Forge approaches her, telling her he can help her gain her powers back.
I think it was like third episode coming up and it didn't fail.
Yeah.
It didn't fail. It still provided. It's still like, okay, the first 2 episodes weren't a fluke. It seems like they're still like coming with it. I like the storyline overall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The bringing out, putting to use Forge. Right? I felt like the first time they showed Forge in the first season with Bishop, going to the Days of Future Past remake. I thought that was really cool when they showed them. It's different in the comic book.
Okay.
But I thought it was really cool when they showed him. But it also kind of was like he came for a cameo. He's like it's a kind of throwaway.
Right.
But in here, when he shows up, you can tell like it's very much close to his origin story in the comic book.
Okay.
And that he's like, okay, he seems like he's gonna be a player, like a major player now.
Right.
And I was like, Forge just never got any shine outside the comic book.
Wow. Okay. So this is his first time. Getting some real shine.
He's not mentioned in any of the movies. I don't think I even ever seen him. I haven't watched all the other X-Men cartoons, like Wolverine, X-Men, and Evolution. I thought all that sucked.
All right, we can have that debate.
I hate it. The only thing for me that was real was the X-Men 90s cartoon. Yeah.
Oh man.
Everything else was garbage.
Oh what? What? X-Men Evolution?
Yeah.
What?
That was all garbage.
Oh man. All right. That's another episode.
So it's like Forge and Storm.
Yeah.
They get together because that's what they do in the comic.
Brown love
Coming together, united. Another thing I liked was the fight choreography.
Yes.
It's like top notch.
Yeah.
From the first episode to this one going through,
yeah.
It's so ill. Some of the moves they're coming up with, the things they're doing. I was like, okay, this is on point.
That fight scene with Madeline, or the Goblin Queen, and Magneto.
Yep. Yes.
Yo.
What?
Like the shit. Like she take. Cause what is it's a glass?
It's a glass she's sitting through. Oh.
Yeah, because like he could control like the wiring and the metal behind it, but then she's taking what? And then they're showing you like the glass is like cutting him and the blood is going. I'm like, yo.
And he's like making little metal shields.
Yeah.
Like, she kind of like counter it. He's like, The fact that they even had her, like, she noticed that difference. She was like, there's limits to, like, you just controlling metal.
Yes.
She's like, there's other shit.
Yeah.
Oh, and sorry.
No, let's go.
The horror movie that's in the middle of the fucking show.
Yes.
I don't know how to explain that, but like the animation of it, I don't know how else to say the cinematography.
Yeah.
It was like a real horror movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, so she's Goblin Queen's invoking the infernal dimension to make them have their worst fears, but it was coming, I was like, oh, they could have gone a little bit further with it. I was expecting to be like, yo, this just somehow changed the complete just horror for like a quick second.
Yo.
And then they were doing that, but it was still like, this is ill. I don't know how they were doing it.
Yeah. It could have been a whole episode by itself. Like,
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, and that's kind of what like I wanted. Like, I'm like, damn, can this just be the whole? You know, the moments where you have like when Gambit sees Rogue and Magneto and stuff, and they're all like intertwined and shit.
Right.
It's like, damn, this is like they're pushing the envelope.
Yep.
You know, and not just in the storytelling, but also, you know, like how they express it. So like that scene in particular, like Rogue and Magneto was mostly naked.
Yo, I forgot.
Yeah. It's like that's telling us something. And what was the other thing? Because you pointed it out.
Morph, Gambit, and Wolverine come out of the danger room. They're like, whoo, you know, working out. And they're like, yeah, you know, I think Gambit was like, yeah, maybe I'll schedule another time. And he goes in and he sees that it says Rogue and Magneto scheduled time. Morph goes, oh, look at that. Magneto and Rogue, even they booked a lot of time. And he's pressing all the time. And he's like, it's like the whole weekend. He's like, yes, Rogue's just wearing out Magneto's stamina. And I was like, yo.
Yeah.
You know, those like code words.
Right. Yeah. Stamina is always the code word, right? Like,
right.
But that was funny as hell.
Right.
You know, and again, it adds more realism.
Yeah.
I feel, you know, which again, like really harkens on that. Like, this is a drama. This is a you know, a half an hour, you know, like fucking drama. All right, so now that we got all the good stuff out the way. Well, what stood out for me was the introduction of Mr. Sinister. Like, I felt like that was really cool. Like how he like talking to her through the baby monitor and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that level of eeriness.
Yeah.
I wish was like prolonged a little bit.
Yes.
So that we can see him being a player, but just in the background.
Yes.
And all this like scary, creepy shit is happening.
Yeah.
And like maybe, you know, see Madeline Pryor or Goblin Queen like slowly break. Right. You know, like I think that's one thing. It happened so suddenly.
Yep.
That it would have. It felt a lot. It made me feel a lot, but I would have felt more if it just happened a little slowly and if it was like prolonged out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The horror segment should have been the whole episode.
Yeah.
Because those 2 minutes, 5 minutes of it felt so good. Mm-hmm. Like, it was like, whoa, this is, I don't know if I've seen the animation do this. Because it felt like a live action horror.
Yeah.
There was something about that, like, it just changed the whole tempo of the show. Mm-hmm. In the middle of it. It was like, yo, what was that? So I would attach that to, like, the reintroduction of Mr. Sinister, right? It was like, no, that could have gone on. The way they did his voice is really good. So, like, it's like we're missing that. Yeah. You know, you can tell, like, you're missing it. Like, no, you should do that longer. Mm-hmm. You know? And also it would look good with seeing the development of Madeline Pryor. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like there's 3 different moments where it was just like with her character, it was just like, okay, we gotta speed this up. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's like we spent 2.5 episodes of believing this was Jean Grey. Mm-hmm. And fully, and she, like, we even see the beginning of this episode, like, she's fighting with them she's like, she's the real Jean Grey. Yeah. She's like, y'all fought with me, I'm the very first X-Men, don't question me. And everyone's like,
Yeah, and that felt good, like, because now you're creating a conflict for this person, and like, Yeah, they really, like you get to see them internalize that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. When Sinister flips her back, when he's like, I created you, and it seems that Sinister's doing something. Oh yeah, no, he puts, I don't know if it's like psionically, the gem inside her mind. I don't know if that's just like psionically or if it was physical, but that happens, and then that's when she changes and she says, I'm the Goblin Queen. That was too quick. I was like, wait, what? Like, especially because, again, I always come from, like, according to the comic book, right? Like, it don't have to be the same, but just some consistency.
Right.
And what he's showing us, right? Because in the comic, Mr. Sinister creates her, and she already has the name Madeline Pryor. It's totally, a little bit different from the animation. But a demon from in the Infernal Dimension makes her the Goblin Queen. Or introduces her to the Magics to make her the Goblin Queen. Yeah. So it's like a separate entity. Now, I don't mind that they made it like wrap that up into one thing. Being like, well, because apparently, they may change it later on, but apparently from what we see, it seems like Sinister made her Goblin Queen. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so there's things that just aren't explained, like kind of like how did her powers change? Why is it Goblin Queen? Yeah. How is she invoking Inferno? Yeah. And stuff. Like, how does it, like, none of that's explained.
I felt like, that shift could have been prolonged. Honestly, like, I felt like it could have been prolonged for the end of this episode. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they could have, if that was like a chunk of the episode, and like, maybe you're seeing Sinister creating Madeline Pryor and like giving her that name. Right. Or something like, you know what I mean? Right. Like, I feel like if we saw that, then that would have, made us care more, about this particular transformation when it happens for her.
Right. And that connected to then she has another identity change. At the end, she decides to leave. Yeah. She gives the baby away. Cyclops can't deal with it. Actually abandons his son after complaining about it was abandoning the son. That's a whole other thing. And then
all this burn hold on real quick. Because all this burn they give my man Cyclops and then they just gonna turn him to a deadbeat. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy.
Because it's also weird she's just leaving. I can get it a little bit, but there's no bit, like, she's like, hey, I think it gave our son to the future. We should figure out what we're doing. Because we had a kid together. I just became evil. Just found out I was born last year. And your real girl, seeing that you want to go back with, is back, who I'm cloned of. I'm about to bounce. And by the way, my name's Madeline Pryor. That's literally how it happens. Yeah. Literally.
And that's the thing. It's like, did those things happen and we just didn't see them? Right. Was it cut out via like a production thing? Or was but this, and I guess that's what we're remembering, I guess, or recognizing through this show by experiencing it, like in this formation, is how this show really just pulls you into the world of the X-Men. Yeah. And based on, I'm sure like on the comics and everything, is like, that's what made the X-Men so special. It was like like these characters and these stories just fucking pull you in, and and you relate to them and you connect with them. So it does feel like a disservice almost when you don't get, that like the extra layer. It's like, if you're gonna go the extra mile on anything, go the extra mile on X-Men.
Exactly. It's not even a mile. It's like feet. It's like a few feet. That's all y'all had to do. A few feet and we would have been satisfied. Like, we get it. It's like 33 minutes. It's like, nigga. What were y'all thinking?